All right, good morning, team. Admiral Tom Anderson here, PEO Ships. I appreciate you making some time to come into the PEO Ships War Room and get educated on what we're doing here. I'm just going to take a couple minutes to maybe get you situated with what the War Room is all about before you have the opportunity to look to some of the more detail that exists on the boards around you. I'm going to start off with the why, just to kind of frame the discussion. And many of you are familiar with this from the PEO Ships Guiding Principles. We are world-class acquirers of ships, and our success is critical to our Navy, our allies, and our nation's defense. That statement, that world-class acquirer of ships, really requires us to be on top of our game and always seeking out opportunities to actually improve our performance, even when our performance is as solid as it is here today in ships. As you come into the room, you're going to start with the why. Why are we doing the things we are doing? To the right-hand side of me, the first board you're going to come to, listed here, is it starts off with that quote. We are world-class acquirers of ships. And it lays out different policy documents. It gives you the Navy's big picture with regards to our strategy, aligning with the NAV plan from CNO and working its way down to the 30-year shipbuilding plan, explaining what it is the Navy is looking for in a big picture from us, and then that crosses over to our guiding principles documents and ultimately to our 90-day assessment. I'm going to take a minute and just explain to you the 90-day assessment. I appreciate many of you who have participated in the pulling together of the material for the 90-day assessment. The 90-day assessment is just that. Upon coming into the job, I wanted to get my arms around how we were performing in ships, what we were doing well and would continue to do, and where there were opportunities. I pulled together a group of subject matter experts who helped me to do that assessment. And coming out of that assessment, we identified a number of opportunities to improve our performance. Those opportunities turned into POAMs and schedules and efforts that we were going to pursue. And that's what you see as you're in the war room here. Each of the boards has a different category of opportunity. I'll read them to you just as you walk around the room. You'll see them. Organizational construct and associated staffing. Do we have the right org structure, and do we have the right number of people with the right type of billets? Workforce competency and professional development. To be that world-class organization, we need to be world-class acquirers, and we need to be experts in areas such as financial management, engineering, program management, logistics, the list goes on and on. Data capture and usage. We have a tremendous amount of data at our fingertips. How are we aggregating that data to be used to make informed decisions at all levels of the chain of command? Industrial capacity, capability, and health management. In the end, none of us turn wrenches or use torches or do welding. It's the industrial base, and really having our arms around how that industrial base is situated, what our needs are, what their ability is to provide it, and really very important in that discussion, keeping that industrial base healthy and level loaded, making sure we've got the tools in place to do that. You'll see a board for cost and schedule performance. This is an area where if you look at our historic performance, we are on average over cost, and from my perspective, more importantly, over schedule, late to schedule. That late to schedule is significant to the operational Navy. Our operational Navy has less ships than we actually need, and it's incumbent on us to get those ships to the operators, full up round as quickly as we can. So what are we going to do going forward to improve our schedule performance? Acquisition strategy and contract vehicles. As we look across this big organization, PEO Ships being the biggest PEO within the NAVSEA enterprise, we have many different programs executing many different contracts, in some cases for similar scope with the same companies. So is there opportunity for us either in acquisition strategy or contracting strategy to become more efficient and effective, and maybe to even give ourselves a little more flexibility? Sustainment. In the end, we are only successful if the ships that we build are able to be sustained over their life cycles. We can feel great about on-time delivery of a ship. If the ship came in on budget, but if we put that ship into service and it's not able to be employed as originally was planned because it's got sustainment issues, that's a problem for us. So working with our in-service partners in C21, part of our team ships family, to make sure that we're getting feedback and we're taking that feedback and we're making our ships as sustainable as they can be. Future platforms, at any given time within the PEO, we have somewhere between 6 and a dozen programs that are in their infancy. They're not really programs yet, they're concepts that are being matured. Historically, we've placed that responsibility to mature those programs with programs that are already building a ship class that stresses that group and probably does not provide the necessary experience to the front end of the process. So we've stood up a futures director and they're managing future platforms. Lots of opportunity there. And then finally, wartime readiness. You know, we, for the last couple decades, we've had the wonderful luxury of being a peacetime Navy. In other words, a Navy that wasn't involved in at-sea conflict. And I think our Navy's light bulb came on as we watched peer competitors in Russia and China advance themselves at a significant pace. All of our policy documents are now online. They've been so for a few years on our peer competition. And you know, that requires us to actually take a wartime mindset. We need to be thinking about not only how we execute and operate and what our processes are in peacetime, but how we are prepared for and ready for and trained for wartime environment, because that's really, in the end, what we need to be ready to do. So that's an overview of the different areas of the war room and the things we're trying to get after. Again, I appreciate you taking the time to be in here today. If you're ever offered the opportunity to work on the initiatives that are listed here in the war room, I encourage you to raise your hand and say you'd like to do it. There's two reasons. One, it helps advance our mission here, and that's you know, delivering that capability. But the other thing it does is it really gives you an opportunity to get exposure to people who are doing similar functions but in different areas. More tools in your tool bag, more expertise, and in the end, I'll go back to the guiding principle, which is build depth. That's really a way to work professionally and opportunities for yourself and ultimately to the Navy. The last thing I want to say before I get off the stage here is every single person who works within PEO ships, you have representation here in the war room. We are not able to build ships and deliver those ships without the functions you serve. It may be lost on you some days as you're working through your spreadsheets. How does this in any way enable you know, the development and fielding of a warship? Whether it's you know, getting the contract in place, whether it's making the money available, whether it's making sure the logistics products are there so they can operate the ship in service, you know, production oversight of work at the shipyards, post-delivery folks flying out to different locations to execute post-delivery tests and trials. Each and every one of you serve a vital role, and I appreciate all your efforts on behalf of the Navy. Thank you all for your time.